Alongside the brand new stunning Imatech the Stormlord model, there were a lot of rumours swirling around, almost literally in this case, about another possible character coming back for the Necrons in their imminent codex. And a lot of this rumours and kind of thinking was based around a character who is very, very popular, he's very fun and very cool rules-wise, and is also very, very fine cast, so he was definitely in need of an update. And that is of course Orikan the Diviner, the Cryptek, and there were some very strong rumours going around that he was getting an updated plastic model. It made sense, he was fine cast, so he would need to get updated eventually, and there was even some solid support from this very, very old Rumour Engine picture which came to us back in 2021. Now this is very, very clearly a Necron tease. You can see some swirling, teleporty phasing goodness and part of a very long staff, which if you look at the Orikan model, could very well have fit in with a new updated version of him, maybe turning into his empowered form or just showing him sort of teleporting in somewhere with his staff. It would really have fit in with how this tease and this Rumour Engine picture kind of set up a shot for us. So there was a lot of thought that Orikan was coming and he would be getting a reveal to come in with this 10th edition codex. However, we have now had it revealed what this Rumour Engine picture belongs to, and it is not Orikan. Instead, the Necrons are getting another brand new Overlord. And now maybe it's just me, but Necron Overlords in my head are very quickly becoming the Primaris lieutenants of the Xenos factions. There is just a lot of them, and GW do seem to like putting more and more out. You've got the generic Overlord, you've got the one from Indomitus, you've got the one that's from the Command Barge, you've got the old Finecast one, and I just think, did we need another one to go along with what we have available already? This would have been a really great time, I think, to update some of the older Finecast range, which really is in need of some new models. They've got people like Orikan, but also Trazyn the Infinite, Xandrek, all of them are Finecast and could very, very well do with being updated into a modern plastic design with some brilliant new sculpts, and instead we just get Necron Overlord number 5. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love the model, it is brilliant, it's a genuinely fantastic sculpt that shows off this teleporting Overlord, jumping into or out of battle depending on how you want your kind of the story to go in your head. It's got a huge amount of character to it, and I think it will be a really fun HQ to play with and should be a hell of a lot of fun to paint up as well. I just think personally they could have given us something that was a bit more relevant and needed in the Necron Codex, and also a bit more useful, something that actually would be fun to get some new updated rules and a model for, because at the end of the day, we know what an Overlord can do, and this is just the exact same kit, the exact same datasheet, with a few minor tweaks and adjustments. And on the topic of those adjustments, we did get a quick look at one of his rules. As befitting the model, this Overlord has something called a Translocation Shroud. And what this does is it gives him a cheeky rule that you may be familiar with if you played Necrons in 9th edition from some of their detachment rules there. He and a unit that he joins can, instead of advancing d6 inches, just auto-advance 6 inches, and then they can also move through terrain and models as if they weren't there when they do so. So, I mean, this is a brilliant little rule. It really will help you get your models and your units and your Necron warriors where you need them. It potentially gets your Necron warriors up to an 11-inch move and allows them to avoid a lot of the terrain and models that do tend to scatter around the battlefields in 10th edition. So this is a great rule. It massively helps Necrons out with one of their biggest weaknesses, which is movement. And I think that when we see some of the other detachments in the Codex, this will add a lot to some of them, specifically any that focus on mission play or scoring objectives. This will just let you go and grab them much more easily. So I think it is a good rule in and of itself. I do have a worry though that this may come at the expense of taking a resurrection orb, because currently for the Necron Overlords that is a choice. You can either take a Tachyon Arrow or a Resurrection Orb, and I imagine that this may add to that list, meaning that your Overlord can either take a Res Orb, a Tachyon Arrow, or this Shroud. And for me, I think that is still going to be a bit of a hard sell, because in my opinion, the Res Orb is still just such a powerful, such an important, almost mandatory tool on units like Warriors or Immortals or Lich Guard that the Overlord can join, just to make sure they're getting back as many wounds and models and basically being as durable as they possibly can. Like, yes, if you want to go for a very melee heavy focused in your face list, then this maybe would be a good pick on things like Lich Guard to get them that bigger movement and get them into combat much quicker. But I just think in the grand scheme of things, when I think Overlord, the thing that I want him to be doing to a squad is taking a Res Orb and just making sure you can make as many Resurrection or Reanimation Protocol rolls as you possibly can over the course of the game. So for me, I do think the Shroud is going to have some stiff competition at the very least, if it is something that you do have to pick either that or a Res Orb on your Overlord. So all in all, I think I have to say I love the model. I think it's cool, I think it's fresh, I think it's stylish, I think it's very well designed and it looks brilliant. I love how the transportation phasing technology looks around the Overlord. I just think that it could be a hard pick compared to a current Res Orb Overlord, if that is an option you have to choose between. And then on top of that, my main problem is that I think it still would have been a much better decision from GW to add a updated new model for someone like Orikan or Trazyn to get away from their fine cast models and instead get something new and fresh and plastic to the Necrons, instead of what is essentially just another plastic Overlord for your armies. And really, that's my big criticism. I just think it's a bit of a wasted opportunity, but in and of itself, I do like it. I like the model. I think the rule that it comes with is very cool, and I would be very keen to see some on the battlefield and also to paint some up, because as I said, I think it will be a really fun painting project, if nothing else. But as always, I would love to know what you think. Do you like the model? Were you maybe expecting Orikan instead? And do you think this guy will actually see any play with his Translocation Shroud? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.